All right. We are just about to start our neuropathy workshop. There we go. Perfect. I love it. Whoever comes in late has to sit right in the middle. How's everybody doing today? Good? All right. Well, thanks for spending a gorgeous afternoon here today. Who's here to learn about neuropathy? Okay. Who's here for something other than neuropathy? Okay, good. Just making sure we do other topics, making sure we got the right one for you today. All right. There we go. All right. Where's everybody from? Lancaster. Okay, awesome. Mechanicsburg.
Spring Grove.
Spring Grove, okay.
Spring.
Wellsville. Carlisle. Beautiful. I'm a local guy. I grew up here, was born at Holy Spirit Hospital, and went to school and came back. That's the short story. I've been doing it for about 21 years now in practice. So I was in Lancaster for about 15 years, and then came up here around that COVID mess, you know. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I had to get a little closer to home. All right. Like I said, I'm Dr. Tomasetti. Quick thing about me, my voice gets tight from time to time. You may have noticed that. If you need me to repeat something, let me know. It's been a long day talking to patients, and I'm here to serve you guys now. So if you need the information, just say, hey, what was that thing? I want to make sure you get the information today. Is that good? Sure. Awesome. So here's what we get to be a part of. Shana says, before I was in pain, 2 treatments down, and I have some balance. Most of the pain in my right side is gone, and my left side is improving. Who's heard that neuropathy can't be reversed? You can't fix it. You're stuck with it. It just gets worse and worse and worse. Yeah, I'm here to tell you a different story. Is that okay? Sure. Yeah. Now, can we help everybody? No, I'm not going to, pretend we can. But for the people we can help, we can see that miracles happen. So hang in there. Also, somebody today is going to get an opportunity to get, I want to call it a free treatment, but that's basically what it's going to be. Okay, we're going to give you a demonstration to see if your nervous system is able to respond and show you in real time what we do. Would that be helpful? Awesome. So stay tuned for that. Let's dive in. Step 1, what even is neuropathy? A lot of people are so confused, like, what is this thing? What is it? How does it get there? Bottom line is, it's nerve damage. Your brain and spine are considered central nervous system. Everything else is put in another basket called peripheral. So if it's outside the brain and spine, it's peripheral neuropathy. So it could be one leg, it could be one arm. It's most commonly both feet or hands. Okay, and that's what that is. So that's basically nerve damage anywhere outside of brain and spine. It can affect your digestion. It can affect legs. It can affect a whole bunch of different things. There's different varieties of it. But end of the day, it's nerve damage, and that's bad. Okay? So, this workshop, again, this isn't for everybody. All right? If you're looking for another pill, another quick fix, waiting till you qualify for a surgery, this is not for you. All right? I'm guessing if you're spending time here today, you're going, that's not what I'm looking for anyway, am I right? So, yeah, if you're really looking for answers and clarity on what's going on in my body and what are the options I have to solve this naturally without drugs and medication, then we might have a good fit for that, okay? So, my goal for you today is this, pretty lofty one, but I want to show you ways that you can improve 50 to 100% even when you've tried other stuff that has failed, okay? Who's thinking, yeah, right? Skeptical a little bit? That's okay, I invite that. Okay, you're going to see why that is. But that's my goal today, is if we can show you how that's possible. want you to walk away with this. I want you to understand what's really causing neuropathy. Okay? What is and what isn't correctable or changeable. And then also, like, how do we measure this stuff? Right? What does that look like? And show you what next steps so that you can take your next step with confidence in your healing journey. Okay? That's where we're going today. So, big picture, there's over 20 million in the US alone that are dealing with neuropathy. It's a lot of people. It's 1 in 6 people over age 40 in the US. Is it contagious? Like, how in the world are this many people dealing with it? Like, what's going on? Right, so these are the questions we're asking. But if you're dealing with this, you're not broken. The system that we've been living in is broken. And we need to change how that operates. And that's where we're here to help you support. Just so I have an idea to support you guys better today, how many of you know that you have neuropathy, like you're actually dealing with, you've been diagnosed, you have an awareness of what that is, and how many of you are like learning or supporting somebody else? So most of you are actually dealing with, like, suffering with this stuff. Okay, that's helpful. So traditional models, what have they done for those of you that are dealing with this? What have they done so far? What are the interventions, or what have they done so far?
Surgeries, medication.
Surgery, medication.
Medication.
A lot of medications. Gabapentin is usually number 1 on the list.
Yeah.
Lyrica, Cymbalta, those are the most commons. Are you aware that those are actually anti-seizure medications? They're off-label uses, and they found that they can help with nerve symptoms. But they can't actually fix the nerve, right? They just mask symptoms. And then usually over time, doses go up. And they don't tell you this, but it actually makes the neuropathy worse. And I'll show you why that is in a minute. But yeah, decline is usually labeled, well, that's normal. That's just how this stuff goes. You're going to have to live with it. But nerves don't die from a lack of drugs, right? They die from a lack of nourishment. We're going to show you what that looks like. Bottom line is that they're managing symptoms. That's what they're excellent at, but they're not great at actually getting to the core problem and fixing that. And that's what we're here for today. So, neuropathy, what I see all the time is my patients going to be like, "Doc, my balance is off. I'm scared." Like, they may not say they're scared, but they're hesitant to do the stairs, right? Or I got to move to a random and think about going to a rancher now because it's just like the freedom starts going away. Travel, right? Now I'll get to it next year. I don't know. I probably shouldn't take that trip. And it's good to know your limitations, but it sucks when you're going, there's got to be a better way. I want my life back, right? Like, does that make sense? So I see that all the time. And so just to invite you to that thought now, like, what is this taken from you? What is neuropathy actually diminished in your life? How does that dampen your quality, right? Like the time with your family and friends and those things that you enjoy. This is my anniversary trip to the Finger Lakes a couple years ago, and we went to see all the beautiful, hikes and waterfalls and all this stuff. And it was like, man, my patients on this side of the, would just, they wouldn't even attempt that, let alone they miss all the gorgeous stuff on the other side. Like, oh man, so it's like, just reminds me every time I see this one, this is why we do this. Help you get some life back. So here's the big idea. The only way to reverse neuropathy is to restore the nerve function. Basic concept, but the only way to restore nerves is to nourish them. So if you think about a plant, and the plant's wilting, what do you need to do to get the plant back?
Water it.
Yeah, water it,
Fertilize
it, the soil, right? The sunlight, all the things plants need. Body is no different. Right? Somebody has said too, if the fish is sick, what's the first thing you do? You change the water. Right? You change the environment the fish is in, or you clean it, right? So body's the same way. So if you start to actually restore the environment that the nerves are swimming in, you're going to get the nerve to do its job again. Okay? And so that's what we want to work on, is how do we nourish that? There's 3 primary drivers that we see all the time that cause neuropathy. Okay? And we'll go through those one at a time. So if we don't address all three, and most people have all three, it's a combination. It's rarely just one. But what will happen is if oxygen's off, inflammation's off, or the nerve signaling is off, then we've got problems in the nerve. So to illustrate that for you, here's what actually causes neuropathy, okay? So here's a little demonstration. Put your hand up like this for me. The nerve is gonna represent, that palm is gonna represent your nerve. And the fingers are gonna represent the blood flow to that nerve, okay? So if you make a fist as tight as you're able to, and let's say we squeeze that for 15 minutes, what are you gonna start feeling?
Numbness.
Yeah, numbness. What else? Some pain? Yeah. What else might you feel?
Nothing.
Yeah, okay, yeah. It'll get to the point where you feel nothing, right? Yeah, maybe some weakness. You're like, oh man, this is getting tired. Some tired, right? Some fatigue in there, right? So you can rest your hand, but you nailed it, right? These are the main symptoms of neuropathy. You're getting tiredness, fatigue, numbness, tingling, burning maybe, right? These are the things that bother your sleep and they wake you up in the middle of the night and then I hear all the time. So the better question is, how do we get this to happen instead of this? Right? When you start to suffocate the nerve and when you start to choke it off and you start to starve it, how do you feel when you're suffocating and starving? Right? If you skip a meal and I'm a little hungry, I start getting hangry. Right? So the same idea with a nerve. If it's not getting oxygen to breathe, how long can you last if you stop breathing? 4 minutes, and you're right. And then you're out. So nerves need oxygen, the whole body. And so if you can't get oxygen delivery, and where's it going to go first? Peripheral, or is it going to go to the core stuff? The things you need to survive, right? So heart's going to get it, brain's going to get it, right? That's where oxygen is going to go first to keep you surviving. Does it care about your feet right now? If you're trying, does that make sense? So if oxygen is off and circulation's off and your body's in survival mode, that doesn't matter so much. We got to keep you alive is the goal, right? So we got to get this happening in the body to allow blood flow to restore to those nerves. And these are not the big pipes. These are the microcapillaries. Literally your blood cells line up one at a time in a row to get through those smallest pipes, or the capillaries, okay? So if you imagine then, however long it's been going on, typically at least months or years for many people, we got this happening, the nerve is suffocating and starving. Over time, it starts to let you know. Now I got numbness, tingling, and so on because the nerve only has those kind of signals to tell the brain, hey, you've got a problem here. Are you tracking with me? Yeah. So in the literature, there's over 100 reasons. There's over 100 different diseases they've labeled that will cause neuropathy. But what it all boils down to is really these three issues. If we can reduce inflammation, if we can get oxygen and blood flow back, and we can make sure the nerves are signaling properly, we can win. Okay? Can any medication do that? Can any surgery do that? If it's truly a nerve block, then maybe, right? Like if you have a compressed nerve and they need to open that up, right? That's a viable option. But that's very, very few people dealing with neuropathy. Okay? So that's our to-do list. Make sense? All right. Now, number one, the secret is restoring that oxygenation. How do we measure that? Most people I've seen are like, Doc, they did the Dopplers, they checked my arteries, I'm fine. Or they said I'm fine. But it's all these miserable symptoms. Okay? They're not looking at the capillaries, they're looking at the main arteries. Does that make sense? So, like when it snows, what do they plow first? The main roads. For the same reason. You got to get the most traffic going, and then they might get to your driveway if you have, right? So like, or that's up to you, right? So, same idea. In my office, we do thermal screenings to see what's happening with the microcirculation blood flow. That's one of the tests we do. Red and white are the normal colors. Nothing else is acceptable in my office. Okay? So, beginning treatment, we had June 2nd of 23. We see white. Notice that in the torso and the hands. That's normal blood flow in the upper extremities and torso. What do you notice in the feet?
Nothing.
Right? A lot colder. I mean, this is happening. 6 weeks later, what do you notice now?
Oh, flood.
It's coming back. Doesn't mean we're healed. It means now we have the opportunity, we've restored the environment for the body to start healing and getting its job done. Now, I will say symptomatically, they're already noticing improvement at this point. But that's what our goal is. If we can start improving blood flow, we can start to get this back, we can start to win. Okay? So, number 2, inflammation. Who's heard inflammation is bad? Right? Like, it's the scourge of our modern healthcare situation. So, prolonged stress tops the list. We've all heard the story of the CEO that was perfectly fine and dropped dead of a heart attack. Right? Stress is a big deal. Obviously, the things that we go through in our story that are, personal to us, but then you throw on top of that global situations and whatever, like just the stress of you name it, right? The stress does more of this, not more of this. Okay, so that's number 1, and we have tools to support you with. I don't know that it's in your handout, and I don't do this every time, but I really get the sense that we need to make sure you guys all have this available to you. If I don't have enough hard copies, we're going to send you a link. There's a way to help manage your stress and calm your nervous system down at home. I'm going to make sure you have that. This is a gift for being here today. Is that cool? You can teach a 3-year-old. I won't belabor going through it, but do understand there's pre and post brain MRIs that prove it works. So use it. Okay. I spent literally over 6 figures learning how. I'm giving this to you as a freebie. Cool? Use it. It'll help you to calm the system down and do more of this. All right, it's called FAST or First Aid Stress Tool. You don't need to memorize that, but just when you get that, we're not going to spam you. We're just going to send you the resource. Cool? That's all we got. What's that?
Breathing.
Breathing is key. You'll see some of that too in the handout. Yeah, but that's different. So breathing you can couple with FAST, and it works even better. Yeah, great point. All right, pathogens. Let's move on to that one. In Pennsylvania, we're number 1 in the world for what disease?
Bloodborne.
Hunters get it a lot in the fall. You start seeing these things on your
Lyme.
Lyme disease, right? Yeah, we're number 1 in the world for Lyme. Yay. Yeah, Pennsylvania takes the cake. So yeah, tick-borne illness is a big deal, and specifically, there's one called Bartonella. And that organism is known to create neuropathy symptoms. It's actually a blood cell parasite and can travel anywhere in your body. It's kind of a nasty little critter. But we often will do screenings for that in the office to see is that part of your situation. Okay? So that's one on pathogens. Obviously, like shingles, other viruses can cause nerve pain and things like that too. So that might be an element we need to consider. And then, like Mom always said, don't eat too much sugar and junk food. Right, so just the basics, junk food makes it worse. And then chemicals, medications, you do need to be aware if you're on the statins. Some statins will make muscle weakness and create neuropathy problems for people. Okay, so check with your pharmacist. They tend to know a little more than you might get from your provider. Not always, but that's a good one to check with. Other things like chemotherapy is known to create neuropathy. Okay, this is a known side effect. That being said, it is frankly one of the easier ones to treat. If anyone has had chemo exposure, chemo is actually one of the easier neuropathies to work with, oftentimes. Heavy metals, another one. Mercury is that's a big deal. Mercury and nerves don't get along. Lead, things like that, and that is in our environment. Believe it or not, we actually have more. They found like Flint, Michigan. Anybody remember that? Anyway.
Oh, the water.
The water supply in Flint, Michigan was loaded with lead and junk, and we actually had more here in Pennsylvania. I mean, our pipes aren't
Mm-hmm.
any younger, right? We were kind of one of the 13 originals, right? So our infrastructure is dated, and some of that's in there. I got a letter like a month or so ago from the water company saying, "Hey, do you have a lead line here?" Like, they're still looking for this stuff. So anyway, you need to be aware of metals, and then dehydration is a big deal. So half your body weight in ounces is what we're shooting for on water intake. That could be an entire workshop on its own about water and water quality and so on. But I would generally say a good spring water, or at least filtered, is going to be important for that. So again, like we get so deep in the water, but your body's over half water, right? It just is. 70% of your cells actually are water. So you want raisins or grapes? You want your cells to be more grapes, right? So all that to say, that's a big deal. If the nerves are parched, you're doing more of this, you're not doing more of this. Okay? So that's what creates inflammation. And the more we do to manage that, the better. Here's what happens when we are able to support that. Fun story with Isabel. She was French native. Wonderful sense of humor. When she came in, you would never know that, though. She was really in bad shape. And on her paperwork, she said, "Doc, if nothing's different in a year, I'm going to be dead." Like that. She's like, "I truly believe that's where I'm at." And at first, I'm like, "I don't know if we can help you. Like, you're banged up, right?" But she was up for the job and up for the challenge. And so we started removing toxins from her body. She was type 2 diabetic with severe neuropathy. We helped her with lifestyle changes, food plans, and all that sort of thing. Got her on an anti-inflammatory diet, helped her with hydration and with light therapy, which you're going to see in a minute when we do our demo. And she says, "I'm on top of the world, flying on a cloud no matter what are the circumstances. And feeling at my best in my body at 53, a year ago I was told that I was very sick." One day she came in, she's like, "Doc, I'm doing amazing, and I got a bill for you." And I'm like, "What did I just miss? I thought you were doing awesome, and now you're hitting me. What's going on?" And she said, "I've lost 70 pounds. None of my clothes fit anymore, not even my underwear, and I'm giving you a bill for my entire new wardrobe." And so we had a good laugh about that, but the picture you're seeing here is 70 pounds lighter. And she went on to lose at least an additional 25 beyond this. We checked her a couple of weeks ago. It was just a follow-up. But she got to go see her daughter go to school, like go to college and help her move in. Like, none of that would have happened if she didn't take action and make the changes that her body was capable of. And so I mentioned Isabel too, because some of you truly aren't ready for what is possible in your body to heal if you actually treat it with respect and do the right things in the right order. She has a completely different life. So just to encourage you with that. That's when we get rid of inflammation, big things can happen. Oh, she no longer has type 2 diabetes. Like, that's gone. It doesn't happen anymore. So most people are treating neuropathy blindfolded, though. Like, they don't actually measure stuff. They're just guessing. Some people may have had the EMG set. They put the needles in you and they measure. Anybody had that done? Yeah. So pretty miserable experience. There's no machine on the planet that tells you how you feel. It doesn't exist. So the EMG is useful in to see is the nerve flowing to the muscle, but it doesn't tell you what you're feeling. That's only motor. I mean, they say, yes, ouch, it hurts, right? They say, you feel that, but in terms of a function that they're testing, they're looking for is the motor function working. Does that make sense? So, and muscles are only basically one-way street. Like, to make a muscle move it's down, right? It's not back up. So it's limited in what it measures. It's useful information, but it's not by any stretch comprehensive. So all that to say, we measure stuff. With balance, we measure blood flow, we measure inflammation, we look at those items and see what's going on. So when you address the root of those things, we typically see better balance. Pain usually gets better. Confidence comes back with activities and so on. Sleep usually improves. And the question is not, can neuropathy improve? I know it does. The question is yours able to? And that's what we really need to discover. So with that in mind, I'm going to share a couple of their stories because one of my main jobs today is to help give you some hope. And these are people that are just like you that were not too long ago living similar experiences. And Jay and Judy, I like this one, says we were miserable. So it's not just the person dealing with neuropathy. In this case, it was Jay. Judy was the helper and the caregiver. And she's like, we're both miserable because, he's suffering with it. Yes, but I've got all this extra that I have to deal with. Like, he had to quit his job. He was a painter, couldn't do ladders anymore, and all that. When he came in, he was in really bad shape, actually. Couldn't sit down in a car. He was literally came in, drove in backwards in the car. And they thought it was related to his feet. Turned out to be neuropathy. He had some back problems too, and we got him back on, on his feet again and back to his job and living life again. Rick, my neuropathy was driving me crazy. My feet were ice cold all the time. Anybody relate to that one? Yeah, waking up 5 to 6 times a night. I had a bad night. My wife is traveling, and anyway, different time zone, right? So I just didn't sleep great that night. And I can't imagine 5, 6 times a night every day. Like, that would just wear you down. So the reason Rick came in, though, his son has severe special needs. And he wanted to be the dad that he knew he could be and wanted to show up for his family. He's like, I got to do something. And he went through, he got 75% better. Sleeping through the night. He's like, man, now I got my energy back. I got my mojo going. So Rick did great. Sandy says, I've seen a lot of progress with my neuropathy. When I first came in, I was in bad shape, couldn't walk, experienced a lot of pain in my legs. Now my right leg's pain-free, my left leg's feeling better. Treatment is helping, and it's worth every penny. So those are Sandy's words. What if you're next? Right? Leroy, I mentioned Leroy. He got 50% better. He was another painter, but he had type 2 diabetes, would not stop drinking turkey ale sweet tea. I'm like, dude, just stop the tea, and you're going to see even better. He's like, that's my thing. I'm just not going to stop it. And I'm like, okay. So I mentioned it because you don't need to be perfect to make headway. Okay? So just know that. If you had stopped that, man, we could probably got a way better results, but for whatever reasons, that was his thing. He's like, live your life. I can't do that for you. But we see other things like this. I can feel my toes for the first time in 5 to 6 years. And he said, I got better balance and I can feel my toes for the first time in 10 years. So just because it's been there a long time does not mean you're hopeless. Okay? Elsie, drastically better balance. She was unable to drive, actually. She couldn't feel pedals anymore. Like, that gets scary. Her husband would drive her over an hour for appointments, and now we never see her because she's doing awesome. And that's our goal. We love our patients, but we don't want to see you, right? We want you to live your life. That's the point. So, again, not every nerve can be saved. I had a gentleman who had a gunshot wound in his backside, and it severed the nerve. Can't fix that, right? We did try something. He was up to I don't know, we might go get something, and he was open to try it, but we didn't get anywhere. But he went and everybody had eyes wide open, like, we know what we're trying, and So that's one thing you'll get from us is truth. We're not going to sugarcoat it. We're not going to tell you we can't. Just know that. A lot of nerves can be reawakened. The question is, how bad is it? What are those 3 drivers are affecting it? And which ones we need to tackle in what order to get resolution or support? Does that make sense? So that's what we need to measure and figure out so we're not guessing at it. Definitely earlier intervention is helpful like anything else. If the sooner we catch it, the quicker it is to resolve, and then you can have a longer term resolution or solutions. If you wait and wait and wait, there is a point of no return back to that plant. If you've got a nerve that starts or dying and you get to 85% loss, where you can't feel 85% of what's going on, hot, cold, vibration, and so on. When you lose that sensation, 85% is gone, there's going to be some permanent nerve damage. Okay? That's kind of, it's like the plant. Again, you change all the environment, right? But that plant's too far gone, it's just gone. So that's what we need to measure and figure out where are you at. And that'll give us timelines and so on. So that's the clarity. Clarity gives you power and helps you change everything. So the third one is nerve signaling, where we talked about blood flow. We talked about inflammation. And the third one is nerve signaling, which then goes into balance. So we're going to actually help you get some awareness to your balance. Before I do that, though, I'm going to tell you, like, why do we even do these workshops? Has anybody heard the story about my dad yet? No. Can I share that with you? So this is what actually got me doing these, because I never went to school and said, oh, I want to learn how to help people with neuropathy. That was never my original, right? So you learn by pain, right? And so my dad, amazing man, he fought 2 tours in Vietnam. And with that, he had Agent Orange exposure, which is a nerve toxin. Our family history, we got blood pressure issue, like cardiovascular and blood sugar challenges on either side. And so he was dealing with some of that. But, he's a tough guy. He's been through it. And thankfully, he never shared a lot of what he went through, but he could handle it, right? He knew how to handle himself. But he didn't want to worry the family. That was the other thing. So he was like, he didn't want to tell us how bad it was. And we didn't want to ask and poke the tiger, so there's this, you get the idea. Our neighbor was having a litter of puppies, and my dad's got a heart of gold too. So he went up to the shed and got the kennel for the whelping box up the neighbor. And as he's coming down the stairs, he lost his balance. And he fell and he broke his neck. And I'll never forget when we went to the hospital, they're like, Doc, we got your dad, he's in traction, we're doing the best we can. Here's the films. And these are the ones you see in school that you never want to see, like, in real life ever, let alone your own family member. And like, we're doing everything we can, but he's probably going to be a C5 quad, which means he was in a chair and he could kind of use his arms a bit, but had a hard time feeding himself. Couldn't really hug his kids and grandkids anymore. Like, totally changed our life. It's a 2-story house, and he chose to spend his days in a nursing home because he didn't want to burden, do a move or add on an addition that was going to be back then $50,000 for a basic no frills master ADA compliant. You know what I mean? Now it's probably triple that to put an addition on. So all that to say, like, our family's gone through this on every level. The emotional, the financial, like I've seen it. And I figured out if I can help one person not live that reality, then it's worth me figuring this out, spending time away from my own family, literally flying around the country, studying for the best, and coming with protocols that actually work. So that's the passion we come from here to support you with. And I've been doing this over a decade, specifically with neuropathy, and helping, we've seen thousands of cases. So if I tell you I can help you, it's because I have got supreme confidence in what we do and how your body heals. If I tell you we can't, it doesn't mean it's hopeless, it just means I don't know what that option is. And we're going to get you to some hands that could support you next. We don't specialize in your causes. Is that fair? So with that in mind, balance is a big deal. And so I'm going to help you bring some awareness to that. So I'm going to invite you to stand up and we're going to go through some balance screenings. And then from that, I'll just kind of figure out who's going to get to be our demo today as well, okay? So I'm going to show you what these are first, and then we'll do it as a group. So the first one will be hands go on the hips for all of them. And then first one is feet together. And don't do it yet, but you'll close your eyes for 10 seconds. That'll be baseline. If you fall over on that, we got bigger issues, okay? No one's gone down on that one yet, so today will be day one. The next one then is going to be with one leg up as high as you're able to. Stand on your strongest leg and hands go on the hips, eyes open. And then what's the next one? Both feet up. No. So yeah, we do eyes closed would be the next one with that. Okay, those are our 3 screenings. A word of caution, if you don't feel comfortable doing any of these, don't feel like you need to be a hero. There's no issue in that at all. I would invite you to look at the person beside you and say, I got your back. We haven't had anybody go down yet. And so with all that in mind, let's see how we do. You ready? So hands on the hips, feet go together. Now count us in. You'll close your eyes for 10 seconds when I say go. You ready? 3, 2, 1, and go. And that's 10 seconds there. Open your eyes. Good catch, Michael.
This happens all the time.
It does. Okay, we're getting like dizzy or just kind of losing.
It's like if I close, I lose that visual reference.
Yeah.
And then I start doing
Going
the wrong
down.
thing. So
Okay.
that's a bad problem with me.
Yeah. So this next one, you're welcome to try it out with eyes open and see if it's different, but it's okay if you don't. So to Michael's point, if you need your inner ear, you need what you feel from your feet, and you need your sight. Thank you. I was like, what's the other important thing? So you need those 3. If you lose 2 of those 3, you're going to go down. Okay, so with neuropathy, you're taking out the sight and the feet are unsteady. You're only got your inner ear left. You know, that could be an issue. All right, so next one is going to be standing on your strongest leg. Hands are on the hips. If the foot touches at all, it's a fail. You can wobble all you want. Hands have to stay put, and if the foot touches or hands come off, that's a fail. Okay? So here we go. We'll do our best. 3, 2, 1, and go. I can try it.
Yeah,
There's 10. I think
Ken.
Kenan might be our only survivor on that one. It usually gets 90% of the group. Cool. All right. So for the sake of time, you can play with the other one at home where you do eyes closed and make sure you're standing close. But yeah, if you're feeling on that one, we're just going to call that a day. You can have a seat there. Thank you.
Yeah.
Did anybody was their balance? Anybody's balance better than they thought it was? I've seen a few hands go up over the years, but yeah. So most of it, was it right where you thought it was, or worse? Who was worse than you thought it was? You notice, okay, so it brings an awareness. That's a big deal.
Better in my bare feet.
Yeah, that's a great point. Shoes are critically important. Yeah, sometimes they add stability, and sometimes they actually make you worse. Like all these new Hokas and all that stuff, don't get you started on shoes. But that's really important, is having the right shoe for your foot and what you need. Right? A lot of times these new shoes that are too squishy, your brain is going, you feel like you're walking on a cloud, your feet feel great. But your brain's like, I'm walking on, I don't know what. And it's going to keep doing this. So actually the wrong shoe can make your foot or your whole balance situation worse. All right, so let's get into showing you what this looks like. So who's had neuropathy for more than like 2 to 3 years? All right, got it. Everybody else is less than that? Wow, okay, so that's generally positive in terms of solutions. So you've had it for, how long have you had it for, Michael?
My legs, my feet over 10 years.
Over 10 years. Wow.
Now my hand.
You're feeling the hands now too. Okay. Are you okay being our demo today? Like so just frankly, it kind of worries me that this one, gets you. So if we can improve that at all today, that's a giant win, and I would sleep better tonight knowing we can support you in that. Does that make sense? Like if he's failing on that one, there's some bigger balance issues, right? So then we can extrapolate that. If you're seeking support for Michael, that might work for me. That's kind of my thinking here. I'm not trying to pick like the worst of the bunch, but I'm going like, I gotta give this guy some help. So come on up here for me. Let's give him a round of applause for being our or yesterday. I think we get clapped for like 2 or 3 times after we graduate high school or something. So we try to give them more love if we can. So stand here for me. We're gonna check some things. Yep, facing that way. What do you notice on your, like, just for your balance and support right now? What do you?
Like these shoes aren't the best shoes.
Would it be
My
better?
balance
Would it be better without the shoes on?
No, because I have the same problem. Let's say I'm in the shower and I wash my face.
Yeah.
And I close my eyes. I have to put my hand out to
Gotcha.
have the wall as a reference.
Yeah, got it. Mm-hmm. Any head injuries?
Oh, I've had cervical stenosis twice where they've had to go in and fuse front and back.
Okay.
2 lower back laminectomies.
Uh-huh.
Started in the military, the thigh started Vietnam, then it went down into the calf, now into the foot, and now it's transitioned into
On the other
the
side. Wow. Okay. We'll see what happens, right? This, I don't know what I'm getting into on these, so that's a lot going on, right? So we got, what did we hear in that? I heard possibly nerve flow, right, with the neck and back. I also heard inflammation, military. You mentioned inflammation, and you're instantly a pin cushion for whatever they want to put in you, right? My dad served, my brother served, right? So we at least know those are a problem, and assuming then if the balance is off, we got blood flow too. So just with all that going on. All right, so the other thing we do is a sway test. So when you fall, ideally, how do we want to fall? Backwards? No, like that's the word, right? You're gonna be able to fall forward and catch yourself in some way. And sideways wouldn't be as good either, but back is definitely like, that's why most people you see are kind of leaning, they go with the head forward, right? So that's the body's natural way of trying to defend you if you were to fall. So we're gonna check his sway, and I'm gonna check other things like range of motion to see what we have going on here. So we'll just dive in. What do you notice with the shoulder? Which one's higher? Can you see that? Yeah, this one's up there a little bit, right? So the muscle that holds that down is the lat. You don't need to memorize that, but that's just what we're checking. Turn your thumb backwards, pull this elbow into your ribs. Don't let me move your arm. Keep it in tight. Yep, hold that in there. I'm going to pull it out. Don't let me pull on the wrist here. Yeah, and so that one's fading away. Pull in again. And that's not firing the way we want it to. Turn the same thing here. Pull this one into turn your thumb back. Pull in tight to your side there for me. Pull that one in. And that one fires appropriately. You see the difference with that? I'm going to do the same thing in his legs in a minute, but just so you have an idea of a reference of like this. Did you feel the difference there? Mm-hmm. Yeah, this one contracts, this one just kind of fades away. So then the neurology is not balanced side to side. Is that going to correct? I don't know. Is that from his neck? Maybe. Could be a million things. But right now, we're just noticing what's off, right? So next is we're going to check his sway. I'm going to kind of push you forward and see if you can catch yourself. I'll be right here to support. I'm pushing from here. So lean back in my hand a little bit. I'll let you initiate it. Yeah, but I'm not pushing hard either. No. I'm just kind of moving them. And he's
up on them tiptoes. I can go down.
Mm-hmm. All right, and then leaning forward this time. I'm going to lean to my hand. Yeah, and you can't catch going back either. No big surprise there. Okay, when you're steady, let me know. Good there. I'm going to push you to the right. Don't let me. Yeah, and so I'm not surprised that these aren't solid, right? Same thing, you're leaning to your right. And so Andy, a little bit of breathe on this guy, and he's going down. So that's a big deal. Now let's measure timing for this, okay? And if we can improve that at all, I think we got to maybe 7 or 8 just by glancing. We'll just measure it and then see if there's any changes with that. So hands on the hips for me, feet as close as you can. And when you're ready, close your eyes and I'll count up to 10 here. Okay, that's 10. And he had a little gap in his feet, which I'm not going to, but just noticing. That's okay. But just noticing that if you got him closer, you might not. I don't know. We don't need to check it again, but just to be aware of what we're looking at. Scale of 1 to 10. 10 is I can do that all day long. 0 is I'm about to fall down. Where were you at on that? A 3. So, okay. And just to notice, we'll check that again at the end and see there's a difference. But if we can improve that from a 3 to I feel a little more confident on my feet, what does that do to your mental health? Right? So we'll explore that too. I'll just sit down in the chair for me here. And the main thing we got to know for balance are do the legs work, right? Because that's what's holding you up. So we're going to check the strength in the legs. I'm going to bring this knee up to the ceiling for me there, Michael. Hold that up. And that's not working. Try the right one for me. That's got something to it. Pull your heel back for me. Point the toe down. That's the calf muscle. Pull back there for me. Yeah, and so his calf gives away, but his hamstring's okay. If you put your toe down, you can feel your calf pop. So that's where we're kind of isolating that a little bit more. You put your heel on the floor and your toes up. Hold this foot up in the air. Yeah. And are you tripping over curves and stuff? Yeah. So that's when that muscle goes, then you don't have that, you can't lift as well. So he can't lift the knee and the foot. And so that's when you start tripping over curves and stuff. Yeah.
Foot drop.
Yeah, you actually told you have a foot drop over there?
It started, they did the first laminectomy on health 4L5.
Mm-hmm.
I just kept tripping and they catch and do things like that.
Yeah. So that's not all the way better, is it? Probably helps some, but it hasn't turned the nerve back on. So let's try this one here. Toe up for me. Pull the heel back. That's hamstring. Toe down. Pull back. That's calf. So we see calf on both sides. Heel on the floor. And bring that toes up again. And hold that up in the air. Yeah. And so he's got weakness on both of those. So recap. We got the lat that's off. None of the balance worked. His stair climber on the left. Both calves, both tibialis anterior, like the toe ups. Right? Am I missing anything? Okay, cool. Dr. Jeff is going to help with treatment today. And again, that's not the best word. It's more of a nervous system response test to see how we're doing. Well, sock and shoes off for me, Michael. That'll be important for what we're going to do here. We work super closely together, and he's a brilliant man. I'm really glad I'm on the team because we just couldn't get nearly as much done without him. So he's going to be doing the technology support, and I'll explain what's going on there. And so what we're using is, who's heard of a TENS unit before? Yeah. So TENS is it's an electrical stimulation, right? But it does not work for neuropathy. I tried it, doesn't work, okay? It works for other stuff, but it doesn't work for neuropathy. And it's 1950s technology, right? This is the new stuff. And this actually will, so the TENS sends one signal out. That's all it does. This stuff, it's called digital electrotherapeutic stimulation, but this will actually send a signal to the nerve. Every 4 milliseconds, it's recalibrating and sending a new signal to rehab the nerve. Okay, so it's adaptable to whatever your nerves are needing and doing. That's what this is supporting. Okay, so we got blood flow, nerve flow, and inflammation. Right? So that's working on the nerve flow piece. Make sense? Cervical and lumbar surgeries, stenosis and laminectomies. What's a little part of that history? Yep. Okay. And then vibration. You ever push a hand mower? When you push a hand mower, what do the hands feel like after too long? Oh, yeah. Right? They start going numb or buzzy, right? That's the wrong vibration pushing blood out of the hands. The research shows when you get 30 to 50 hertz, It actually pulls blood in. So that's what we're doing here. We're getting the right vibes into the feet, which help balance and blood flow. Okay? And then number 3 is inflammation. So light, again, there's at least 25 years of research on light supporting blood flow and actually doing this. It can literally help you regrow new blood vessels, reduces inflammation, reduces pain, swelling, all that kind of stuff, and helps everything heal quicker because it's actually literally stimulating your body to make more energy. Okay? So when we combine these things into the synergy of all of it working together, we start seeing some pretty cool stuff. And we'll find out what we get with Mike. I don't know. Right? We're seeing that the reason for doing this is, can his nerve system respond and do something different than what it's been doing? Right? So we didn't see any changes or improvements. We go, cool. That could be a useful option. So this is what we do in terms of some of the assessment we'll do in our journey.
The device on his leg is actually inputting and exporting, you said?
Right, it's putting energy, or it's putting electrical signal in, and then it's
Like
also, right, like a TENS,
Yeah.
but then it's also receiving and going, oh, wait a minute, and it modulates what it needs to do next.
It's resetting the calculations?
Say again?
It's resetting the calculations on its own?
Essentially, yeah. I'm not the super technical on the.
Discharge?
Ask that one more time.
Still the discharge?
Right.
Okay, just resetting.
Yep. Yep. So yeah, breaking that down a little more for you as well. Essentially, the device is sending signal out. Nerves are doing whatever they do. The device then picks up what the nerve is doing and saying, oh, wait a minute, we need to remodulate that to make it normalized again, and we'll send a new signal to make that. So it's constantly reading back and forth what's going on there. Does that help? Yeah. So just that's what's playing around in there. We have it on both feet, so it's going up one side, connecting through the spinal cord and back down to the other one, and getting that support into both legs. If you have it in the hands as well, we might need to actually wire up the hands and do that, but for the demo, we're just doing the feet, since that's a big balance piece. You're not usually balancing on your hands too often. Maybe we should do that more, play around a little bit more. Yeah, sometimes as adults we lose that play, right? Yeah.
On your feet like this, you can't run. You get uneven ground. It can be very treacherous.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll go back in my shop and I'll turn around like to a half turn, and I realize, and I'm pushing my upper body that way, and boy, once that head starts going, unless you got something to grab on, it's a hard thing to stop.
Yeah.
How's the light therapy working for the nerves?
Great question. Essentially, the main thing for nerves with light is it's adding energy, photons, and then we see ATP production boost, so that the energy molecules get more of them. So it's like it's putting an energy deposit into the bank of the nerve.
So even though he's scanning quickly, he's still penetrating the skin to the nerves.
Yes. Or the thing is, think about like a pool light, right? The light of the pool might be the deep end, but it still lights up the shallow end, right? And because water, we talked about water being in the body. When you got water, those photons travel all through. So even if what they did originally on burn patients with laser was they didn't even treat the burn site. They treated an area away from the burn. And they still found quicker resolution because they're lighting up, they're putting energy into the body. And then the body can use energy where it needed to heal. Does that make sense? So it may not, the depth of this, and if it's through clothing, we may not be getting to the nerve, but we have seen that doesn't always make, it's not always a requirement to penetrate to the nerve.
Okay.
As far as the depth. Great question.
Is this far infrared?
Yes. So we're saying red, infrared you won't see, but the red is what you're seeing. This has both.
No, it's red and near infrared, not far infrared.
Oh, I'm sorry, I missed that. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, near infrared.
Okay.
Okay.
We're talking physics spectrums here.
Mm-hmm.
Yep,
Yeah.
I missed the far. That's important.
All right, let's take this one here. Turn this one down. This one here. There. Yeah.
Yeah, right? Before you get up, what do you notice at the moment?
I feel my feet more.
You feel it more.
Because
Thanks, Todd.
now the bottom of my feet especially is, you can do dull sharp.
Mhm.
And I'll look at here, but
Do you
I've had
let's finish this and then we can talk.
Yeah.
Is that okay?
things like that, and it's like, well, kind of, that's the way it is, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, maybe about 10-ish minutes.
Basically what I dealt with.
Mm.
I got the surgeries,
Yeah.
that thing I was, the second time I had this stenosis, it was a lower level, and nearly paralyzed. I
Wow.
had to use a walker, I couldn't eat with my hands.
Mm-hmm.
Couldn't grip anything and
Yeah.
stuff like that. So after that second surgery, I regained 80%,
Okay.
but I still have all the numbness in my
Right.
hands and fingers and have no dexterity. And now they're starting to get cold. It's below 40 degrees. It's just, I can't tolerate it.
Mm-hmm. Wow. So that's with the stenosis part. Remember we said if nerve flow's a problem, right? Like that might be a surgical thing. So I'm glad that was resolved for you because that's a big deal, right? So let's see what we get now, and I'll get raise your knee up to the ceiling for me here. Yep, hold that up. What do you notice there? Working. Like I'm pushing easily twice as hard. Pull the heel back for me. Angle up and pull back. Angle down and pull back. His calf's engaging now. Heel on the floor and this one here. Yep, toes up. Pull that up in the air. Okay. Well, better. Not perfect, but I'm not doesn't fall right away. Try this one. Pull the heel back. Toes up. Pull that back. Toes down, pull back. Yep, heel on the floor and yep, holding that up. What are you noticing with your strength in the legs there?
Better in the right. It's a little bit better in the left.
Yeah, so some improvement with that.
Mhm.
That's a pretty cool response. Let's see what happens when you stand up. I'll be putting socks and shoes on again. So we're doing the same balance checking with feet the way we started.
So Dr. Thomas said,
Yeah.
about 4 or 5 months ago, I woke up, got out of bed, tried to stand up. And this leg here, this foot, have you ever seen anyone walking and they're flopping that one foot?
Uh-huh.
It took me about a week to get everything out again.
Wow.
So long. And I still went to work, just like
Like, okay, we're going to work today. Wow.
that.
Can I hire you? We need some more hard workers like Ken here. Tell you what, man, that's pretty hardcore.
That's what happened to me a couple months ago.
Wow.
That's when baby come in and
Okay,
try to do something.
that's a big deal. So you're like, I need to make sure this kid doesn't happen again, and I can keep working and providing for my. I got you. Okay, that's it. Yeah. Thanks for being here. Yeah. Barry, you had a question?
I've had this neuropathy in this leg here for probably 15 years.
Wow.
Like,
I had to do
before
the
experience,
I couldn't,
it's hard to hold them.
couldn't write, couldn't.
Yeah.
I still work them all the time.
Yeah.
So he said, well, we
Balance is
classify you. And then he said,
What you
well, we could move
really
you up to
bad.
100 miles away.
and, I fall a couple times when I got my balance.
Had enough.
And I get all broke up.
Yeah.
Fine.
Active.
My kneecap,
Some things are scary.
back, all kind of things. But
Human free. Yeah. Thanks for being here today.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, that's
It's hard to go hunting anymore in the woods because you gotta watch every single step you take.
yeah.
And if there's a twig or something, you better be careful, you're gonna fall down.
I wish we had the budget like Big Pharma to spend billions on advertising because like the system we're in is so broken. I'm sorry that we haven't gotten the message to you sooner. Like there's other ways to do this, and I'm like, it just breaks my heart that you've had to live through those things possibly needlessly. Right? That's what just all
I
right.
did a look at our generations.
Yeah.
It's like we didn't quit, we worked hard, we
Yeah.
did things broke and kept going.
Yeah, and then keep going, right? And then you get to the golden years and you're like, I spent all my years working to get to this point and now my life sucks. My retirement's not gonna be what I wanted. Like that's the other kicker. So yeah, anyway, let's see how we're doing here, Michael. Let's stand this way. What do you notice about standing up? Was that any different than typical?
I just felt, that's a great word to say. I'm more relaxed, but
That's
yes,
what I was gonna say.
and a little more.
Yeah.
I can.
You
It's like,
didn't seem like you had any difficulty getting out of that chair. You
Well,
got up very easily.
I didn't get to see him get out. So that's good to notice that.
I noticed that.
I don't get up out of chairs, especially when they sit back like that.
I was wondering to like, man, I heard the back and then I'm like, how's he getting out of this thing? Okay, but
You seemed
You're
like
here.
you got out.
You have to shift up. You learn all these little things.
how to adapt, right?
It's like my wife says, if I go up a ladder while she's not home, if I fall, I might as well just die because she's not going to forgive that. So I have to be very careful with what I do.
Yeah.
I like to be. I got 2.5 acres to mow and
I didn't do letters anymore.
Yeah.
do what you
Yeah.
got to do.
All right.
Huh?
Let's see how we
All
do
right,
with the
to go.
nose here. Turn this backwards again. Pull that in tight. So that is now firing again too. And then let's see if, maybe not much different in terms of posture, but I wasn't expecting that to correct anyway. But we see the neurology starting to engage. Let's see if we can balance a little easier here too. I'm going to push you forward again. Lean back in my hand. How are we doing there? Like I'm leaning in a little bit. Yeah, that's cool. And that's going back, right? That's a big one. Usually the front one turns on first. Push forward in my hand. Yeah, so again, I'm putting some body weight into them.
Pushing me backwards.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to land on you anyway.
No, yeah, right, yeah.
I'm really glad.
I'll twist somehow.
When you're ready, into your left here, Michael. Okay. So, what do you notice? I don't want to put words in his mouth. What do you? Before I could breathe on him, it's like, remember that? Lean into my shoulder here, or your shoulder into my hand. And that one didn't really change much. Right? We didn't get everything.
Right.
But we did notice some pretty big neurological changes. Has anybody seen improvement or changes like that neurologically before?
No.
Now, will they stay?
That I don't know yet,
Okay.
right? He's got a lot going on in his story. But what we did see is what? We saw changes in the right direction with a few minutes of support. Now imagine having the ability to do that twice a day for 90 days, 6 months, a year. Can you see why we're getting the miracles we get? It's not us getting them, it's your body healing when it gets the right information, the right energy. We didn't even do anything with his diet. We didn't do anything with his stress level. Right, we just started adding some technology to get energy back to see is his nerve capable of responding. So imagine now we add in nutrition, we add in the right diet, right? We help him with stress management. Like, can you see why we're getting 50 to 100% improvement from where you are? Who's thinking that might work for me? Yeah, like the possibilities there. A little bit of hope getting back. Like maybe there's some hope for me. Michael, thanks for playing today. Yeah.
It was fun to see.
Yeah, that's the whole goal. Like this is yeah, absolutely. And so again, when we start to nourish the plant, nourish the nerves again, we get to see amazing things happen pretty quickly. Now again, how long does that last? I don't know. I've seen that last at least 2 weeks before they came in for their assessment. We can get them on the schedule. And like, I'm still noticing changes from when we did the demo. Right? I've seen it last a day. I always invite people, would you please text me and let me know how that's doing and like how long that lasts? Because I always want to learn that too and go, But that being said, I don't know how many other factors are in his story that are draining the battery out of that nerve, right? Like, so we got to, what other inflammatory triggers, so on and so forth, that we got to discover. But the great news is he's responding and quick. So what does that mean for recovery? Right? The options are wide open. So that's what we get to play with. So this next piece is not really about signing up for care, any of that stuff. That's not what this is about. This is about answering one question really, which is, can your body recover and how far can it recover? That's what we're trying to figure out. So we have a two-step process to do this. We have a discovery day or an exam day, and then we have our report day and options day, right? Pretty standard. But here's what that looks like. We're going to measure nerve damage, circulation, all those kind of things, balance and fall risk. We literally put you on a force plate that gives us a number to measure a fall risk. We get a number to see if we can see as your neck and fall. Like we got ways to dig deeper into that. We'll help to identify your primary driver. Is it blood flow, nerve flow, or inflammation, or what combination? And then know if improvement is realistic or not. I had a gentleman in here a little earlier today, and he was literally at the point of he was 84% on one leg, 86% loss on the other. And I'm like, if you're not doing your homework, I am not taking this patient. It's going to waste your time and money and my time and reputation. I don't know. Right? So if you're committed to getting better, then we can have some honest conversations. That's the main thing, right? So this is not about guessing. There's no pressure. Just give you answers and options. So here's what that looks like. Normally includes our one-on-one consult. We go over, what got you to where you are now. Listening to your story. Most patients get rushed through an office visit, like 6 minutes with a provider, and then here's your medication, have a nice life. We do it differently here. I hope you're okay with that. Comprehensive neurological exam will test all the things we need to check for your situation. We do all that in the office here. Advanced diagnostics, that's our blood flow testing and balance, fall risk, etc. All that is day one. Then the next visit, we go over your reported findings and your recovery response test, similar to what we did for Michael, to see if your nerves are responding as well. Okay? All that together, the value is $975 for both of those visits. Okay? On day two, you'll get a chart that looks like this. Am I in permanent, severe, moderate, acute, or normal? And where am I at? So I'll make decisions on that. It gives us timelines and tells us about where you're at for nerve damage. Okay? Questions I commonly get. How do I know this will work for me? That's why we do our testing. And they go, is this actually the right place for you? How long does it take to see improvement? Well, for Michael, it took a few minutes. Right? In terms of the long haul, that depends on how bad it is and so on. Right? Commonly, we'll see people noticing changes even within the first 2 to 4 weeks. If it's more advanced, it might take longer. My goal is always in the first 90 days, you're no worse. Because if we can at least stop the progression, that's a big win. Because if you do nothing, neuropathy will go downhill. That's just the progression of the disease, right? So my goal number one is stop it, and if we can reverse it, amazing. Then we've got medical miracles happening, right? So, but it's not uncommon to hear people noticing changes within the first few weeks. Insurance coverage. What do you think?
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah. Yeah, insurance is not going to cover it. Okay? I won't get into the whole story, but basically Medicare writes the guidelines, and then all the insurance companies follow that. Medicare has in their guidelines that if it's a care plan designed to improve your quality of life, they're not going to cover it. And there you are. Is that going to change in our lifetime? Unlikely. But just to be straightforward and honest with you, I would not expect insurance coverage. It will be out of pocket. And I wish it were a different story, but just telling you how it is. Okay? Which then is usually the next common question, what does care typically cost? And that varies for someone that's got, things like Michael's been through. It might be more than if you have a simple diabetes scenario, right? And that's just blood sugar related, and we got to repair that. So I'm going to try not to shoot myself in the foot giving you numbers, but I want to be honest with you so you know what that looks like. I would say commonly we can find plans that would start in the $150 to $450 a month neighborhood. Could go up from there. And if you're looking at total value, we typically follow our patients for at least a year. And care plans are going to start in probably the $3,000 to $5,000 range and can go north from there. If you get an amputation, they're going to charge you at least $5,000 to remove a toe, and we like to try to keep them for under that. But so just to give you, is that helpful to have an awareness of where those funds might need to be? And we've got a bunch of ways to support you in terms of payment options and so on. Here's the bottom line. If we find that we can help you, we're going to do everything we possibly can within your means to make that a reality. Okay, so I don't want that to be a concern, but I do want to be honest with you in terms of what funds may need to be available. Is that helpful?
1 to 400 for just a normal treatment.
No, great question. We put this together in a plan. So here's your plan. Here's the therapies that are going to be useful at home. Here's the equipment that you're going to own. Here's the nutrition we need to do. And we typically plan that out for a year. And then we go from there. So we collect that.
You have to sign a year contract?
It's not a year contract. It's going, here's the care plan we're going to produce for you.
Yeah.
And here's all the elements that go into that. And so, yeah, we usually collect payment up front for that, or it'll be on a payment plan. And there's savings options and all that we can get into in the time.
A year at a time.
It's not always a year at a time, but usually the first one, if we can accept the case, I like to follow you for at least a year to make sure we're not just making headway and going backwards. Because usually the holidays come and guess what happens? Things tail off, right? That's just human nature. So I like to follow for at least a year. And then it's not uncommon to do some support beyond that if we need to, some check-ins. But if you have the equipment that you need at home and you know what to do at home, then you've got better things to do than me in my office, right? I don't need to see you. Keep doing your thing. Keep healing up at home. So it's a hybrid model, right? So great question. And again, all that's fluid when we know what your options and means are and, the schedule, all that. We have that honest conversation about what's real, but that's typically how we operate. Okay? Yeah. I've tried to do visit at a time. It doesn't work. It just doesn't work. The reason is it's like anything. Life happens and then health gets put to the side or whatever. The results go way, way, way down if we don't structure it in a plan and everybody's following the plan. Does that make sense? Yeah. So that's how we do that. What if my exam shows I'm not a candidate? And so to your point, Larry, if we can't help you, we're not going to say blow smoke and say, oh, let's do this. And no, my reputation, I worked way too hard and doing this way too long to waste your time or money. That's not what we're about. So I can't help you, we're going to get you in other good hands. Okay? If we can, and we accept your case, we're going to do everything we possibly can to make it better. Okay? So that's what the exam lets us figure out. What happens in my exam is typically about an hour long. Everything we need to do is typically in office. Most people already had some labs done. Bring that in with you or send it ahead of time. If we need to order stuff, we'll talk about that at the time. But generally speaking, we're going to go through our assessments. It takes about an hour. Nothing is painful. That's the other thing everyone wants to know. Nothing hurts. Okay? Yeah. So really, yeah, 2 paths forward. Keep managing your symptoms. More meds, less feeling, fear of falling, giving things up. Maybe next year. Or we can figure out what the real causes are. Help you restore that circulation and nerve signaling. You just some balance and confidence back so you can travel and walk and keep living again, right? But here's what I would say, like, if that's of interest to you and you want to figure this out, only schedule if you're just serious about doing something about it or like really getting answers. If you're just kind of going, I'm curious, please don't take somebody else's spot that is really serious about getting what they need. Is that fair? We do reserve some spots that are for the workshops for our patient scheduling. So the way this works is, so what happens next is scheduling your discovery day. If that's for you, you're going to go to the front desk and they'll have a voucher for you.
You have Post-it notes back here.
Post-it notes, even easier. They're trying to make my job even easier. So there's Post-it notes with the dates that we have available.
Right here.
And here's another critical piece of information I didn't tell you. Normally it's $9.75 for both visits. Today, for spending time with us and seeing Michael's awesome demo, we're doing both of those visits, all the testing you need to do in your nerve response test for $149.
Okay, that was my question.
Yeah.
What's the cost to come in for the initial?
Right, the
visit?
initial, I realize insurance isn't going to cover that, so I want to make sure you get answers, and if we can help you, we're going to do that. $149 gets you both visits and answers, and then we can figure out what your care plan would look like from there if we can accept your case. Okay, so that gives us both an idea where to head next.
What are the possibilities that you're not a candidate? What are some of them?
What would be like a disqualifier? Yeah, basically something severe like, and really you're not willing to put any effort into your own healing. That's probably the biggest one. Some people are like, I just, it's not worth it to me, or I've seen some patients that are in their later years and they're like, it's just not worth it to me to, spend my last 5 years getting better. I'd rather do something else with my fund. Like, so that's the biggest thing, Joan. The other one would be if you have again, but these are all quality of life questions. Like, yeah, I've seen even people that were literally stage 4 advanced cancers, and they're going, I want my last days to be as optimal as they can be. So it's really a mindset. It disqualifier more than like any specific medical situation. I will say there's been a handful of cases that we haven't accepted for various things, like the super advanced Lyme, some of the like severe things like that.
Are there some physical things that we shouldn't be doing?
That's what we need to know in the exam. Like, if we figure out, hey, this is surgical, for example, like we don't do that here, so we refer you out to the right specialist if that were the case. Right? So that would be the main thing that would be, we can't help you with that, but we could help with blood flow and by inflammation. We can support other areas. We may not be able to get all three, but that's what the exam tells us. Does that make sense? So in short, if your body still heals up when if you cut yourself and you still heal up, you're probably, it's not completely lost hope. But if the nerve damage is too far gone, we have an honest conversation like, hey, you're past, there's going to be permanent nerve damage. Is this something you want to pursue or not? And we figure that out together.
But if you have certain heart conditions, should you not be doing this
That
kind of-
may change what our application could be, but it doesn't mean there isn't support for patients with heart conditions.
I have a medical question while I have you. She's got dental neuralgia.
I'm going to pause right there real quick. I want to answer your question, but because it's a personal one, I don't want to take the group's time for that. I want to talk to you one-on-one and make sure you answer it.
I want to know some questions
Yeah.
about that.
Yeah, and that makes total sense. But to respect our else's time with that too, if that's for you, I would invite you to go grab an appointment time. Go collect the payment for that today before you head out. Get you all the information you need. One other thing I would ask is the QR code takes you to a Google review. If you found something valuable today, again, we don't have Big Pharma's budget. Your kind words go really far to support others in our community that need to know this message as well. If that's been useful to you and you found some value in that today, I would love for you to just, take your phone out, zap that, and even say 2 nice words like good job or whatever else you want to say. Okay, that's really helpful to us. So I would appreciate that. Any other questions regarding how to take advantage of the next step in terms of the exam?
That'll be 149.
149 covers both visits and gives us all the information we need. Okay? Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being here. Hopefully you learned something valuable and saw some pretty cool stuff with Michael. That always tickles me.
I got a question.
Yeah.
For a long time, I have not followed or believed in the existing medical establishment. One of the things you said made me think about the fact that one of their flaws is trying to deal with problems with physical, Newtonian physics to the exclusion of quantum physics. But I can tell that you see the difference.
We love to play in quantum and beyond.
And so, if I haven't delved into things with them,
Yeah,
and I don't have certain assessments, and I still,
that's fine. We can order whatever we need to.
okay,
It's just if you have other information, it's helpful, on the front end. But if we can order it, we can order it. That's not a problem. Yep, great question. Again, thanks for being here. Appreciate you, love you, and we'll see you soon. And there, I'll grab your question here in just a moment. I'll leave that up so you guys can take down in here.
sign me up, I wanna know where things are.
Yeah, for that one around, maybe 15.
Okay.
I think if you looked into neuropathy or whatever, is this something that can happen? Are you familiar with your own life?
And the question is, I don't know.
If you do the evaluation,
That's
just
gonna give us-
before I make a decision,
Of course,
before you do you do the evaluation, you maybe tell me.
yes. We'll see if the motor sensor is working. How bad is that? Because one side or the other, can we, what options we have to
So
solve
these
it?
post-its
We'll
are
see.
offering
She
some
could
time.
sit there.
Yeah, I
Yes, those are
noticed that.
available time.
Yeah.
You have to post and talk to them, that's it.
Yeah.
We're at the post it, when it works, and then go talk to them.
Yeah, if we can help, we're gonna figure it out. Everything we possibly can.
And you might be able to tell whether that's worked into that or you need me.
I want these guys that-
Or if it's not a neuropathy diagnosis, it could be something else. We
Okay,
can
would you
support
do
with.
it? Why am I?
Just turn it back.
Because I know the leg, she lost her arm.
Doesn't really matter.
I was
I
saying,
forgot half the stuff I used to know that, it's always interesting to ask.
Oh,
I
okay.
read that
Mhm.
Sitting here, I know.
3 different times.
Yeah.
That's neuropathy.
She got sick first time, I got sick the second time.
Mm.
She works.
I'd like to do the 149, which is evaluation.
Like that, she didn't want me to-
She beat you to it, Larry. That's awesome. Yeah.
Well, you get the information. so-
She's been.
Yeah, so glad you're
Yeah.
here, Michael.
Yes.
That's where.
Oh, Mary. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay,
Mm.
thank you.
My pleasure. Yeah, Mary. See you soon.
You go over there where they put the driveway down and walk down your driveway.
It's easier.
That's the only way to get to that.
Oh, yeah.
Yes,
Oh, yeah. Oh, I got
Yeah, she's not here.
Where'd you go? The Mets
Yeah,
play?
if you can
Yeah.
help, if you can help,
I'll run around the other
yeah,
way.
schedule and take payments.
Yeah.
That'll work.
Oh, cool. Cool. They have this here so small. So they didn't want to pull. Yeah, close it down here and then I read it, but it's up here, I'm not gonna see it. Excuse me, Jeff?
once on both those times.
Excuse me, Jeff?
Yeah.
Jeff?
Yeah.
I'm not
Yeah,
sure.
either way.
Okay,
Yeah, sorry,
so, before I tie anybody up here, there's another location, I want to say it's in New York.
Uh-huh.
I prefer to go there instead of coming here because I'm coming from the Lions.
Okay.
So, do you know anything about that location? Is it active? You know?
If you know who it is in New York, I can do
I
something.
have I've seen, well, let me put it to you like this. I was trying to call you to confirm the reservation, and I noticed that it had a York number or there was a facility there, and I'm like, wow, I probably would go there instead of coming up here, but I came here first because so I'm before I even take anything like that, so I'm thinking to go towards New York in that area because
Yeah. I like if you're exploring there, it's like if you do the clinic name and
it's the same name.
oh
Yeah, it's the same. Your same name.
Legacy Health.
Yes.
I'm not sure what that is because in a breakfast on the city, I used to practice down here on my side, right? And then he moved up here, so he's no longer in two locations anymore. So I'm not actually sure. We don't actually have a location in New York anymore. I don't think we have a location in New York.
That might be
Yeah, so it's like if you want to if you want to go here, we're
I would
only,
have to come
we're
in.
only at one location.
Yeah, I would have
And it's like, even though it's like we're good ways away, it's like we could put together a plan to be like, hey, what does it look like to keep treating more home therapies to see making the progress that you're after?
I got you.
So that's why we went to the hybrid. We used to just do like in office and everyone have to come up here 2 3 weeks. But if you lived in New York, or if you lived in Lancaster, it's like
It would have been convenient.
it would have been next to impossible to make it up here.
My next thing is, I'm in the middle of a job change. At 18 years when I started a new job, insurance and all that. I'm leaving one right now, but I'm still working until So I want to hold off until I get into this job
Yeah.
and then see what transpires after that. So I will be probably coming back, but it's going to be after the 18th.
Yeah. So after the 18th, give us a call. Let us know when you call in and be like, hey, I was at the seminar.
Yeah.
We can still honor that.
Thank you very much.
It's like, oh yeah, it's not like today on. It's like, yeah, just
Yeah.
call us, hey, we're at the seminar. We'll still honor the price. Just make sure. I'll let her know.
Okay.
So when you call in, just tell us like, yeah, I was kidding. So can you call at least after the 18th?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. I'll call tomorrow.
That's perfect.
Thank you very much.
Get that all set up. All right.
I appreciate it.
We'll get that over here.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, like last month, I had nothing to do on it. All of it down, and all you was
Yeah. Yes. All right. Let's do it after this a little better for you.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's do 150 on Wednesday the 13th. I'll write that down for you here. You're probably quicker than I am. Look on my chair. What's this in here? So, Alyssa's gonna do it quicker than I roll, so I have to cover. All right.
Nope, I'll take your payments tonight. So here's 149. Where your neuropathy is at, how far progressed it is, and whether the nerves respond. Okay? Alright, here's your card back. There's easier for you to do paperwork. Actually on paper. Would you prefer to do your patient paperwork at packet rather than online? Okay. You're gonna get a text message with a link to the new patient paperwork. But you don't need to fill all that or fill it out online, just fill this one out. And then you can drop that back off to us before you're after you get that free. Alright? Okay, and we will see you on Wednesday the 13th. Alright? You're most welcome. Have a great rest of your evening.
Thank you.
Welcome.
She actually scared me.
So.
Yeah, then there's,
Here.
yes. Stay patient. Very moving.
Yes. And yeah.
She was out. And whatever she was talking about, I never heard the
She didn't know how.
She said it's usually, but it's rectal.
Right. I know.
I thought I heard trigeminal not shingle neuralgia. Oh, God.
And neuropathy. And like all kinds of, she has had a life. And she's 82 and doesn't want to live anymore because she's so much pain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Literally.
She didn't know neuralgia. I've taken on a few trigeminal cases. And that was painful. We were able to get progress. However, that she did know neuralgia. I mean, at this point, she probably isn't sexually independent anyway.
Right. Yeah.
Who's those? Do you know who brought this was a nurse? Okay. Someone with cystis back here.
Oh yeah. That's
Someone left an open bottle of cystis in the.
check this tools. Yeah.
Okay. I'll put it back in here. That's why she couldn't sit.
So when you're in the smart holes, this is comfortable position. Yeah.
But even steaming isn't even comfortable.
No.
Standing, nothing is comfortable. She is in pain all the time. She is miserable.
That's almost like a CRPS. How did those nerves get injured?
Right.
I thought I heard her say she's a nurse. And she's had 3 kids. And then she had some kind of back surgery, which seemed to help that. And around her. Seemed to help them around her, but it's back.
Uh-oh. No. What was that? Oh. Is your phone connected to your laptop?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, it just dinged, and I was like, no way someone left their phone here. Okay, and then I was like, oh, it's your laptop. It's still streaming.
Okay. Have a good night, everybody.